much money have I spent so far this year on books? Not as much as you think. I have spent 54 British pounds on books so far this year. But it was 19 books that I spent the £54 on. So that works out at £2.80 a book. I do love myself some bargains and some savings. So I'm going to run you through the 19 books that I have purchased this year, and I'll let you know if I've DNF'd them, read them, what I rated them, or if they're still lingering on my shelf. Because there is a mixture of all of those options. So the first one then that I bought way back on the 1st of January. Actually, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of the 19 I bought on the first day of the year because I was just so pleased that it was a new year that I just went, spending happy and bought quite a few books. So the first 4 I DNF'd. So those are Knights of Plague by Orphan Pamuk, Jane and Prudence by Barbara Pym, Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez, and How Green Was My Valley by Richard Llewellyn. Yes, so there are a mixture of reasons. Knights of Plague was very textbook, like history textbook like for me. It was a bit too history textbook. Jane and Prudence wasn't as good as Excellent Women for me by Barbara Pym, which remains the only Barbara Pym book that I've rated 5 stars. Our Share of Night was just so slow. Like, I really wanted to love it. It was one of those books where I was like, no, I'm going to persist and I'm going to make myself love this, and I just didn't. And then How Green Was My Valley was a book that another YouTuber had put in their top 10 books of 2022, so I kind of picked it up and wanted to get to that. And I did like it, but it was just, I think I got to like something like 50%, and it just wasn't really, it was just so slow to get through, and I was putting it down more than I was picking it up, and it was just becoming a bit of a chore, so I DNF'd it. So they're the 4 DNFs that I started the year with. And then I went on to a 5-star book, which was Lapvona. Absolutely loved that, and that is in my January wrap-up if you want to see my full thoughts on what I think of that. And then the last 2 that I bought in January were The Scapegoat by Daphne du Maurier, which I have yet to read. It's staying on my shelves because I'm just collecting Daphne du Maurier books as I see them go to 99p on Kindle, and then just basically picking them up because I know I love her, I know I'm going to get to them eventually, so I just pick them up when they're cheap, and that will stay on my shelves for as long as I last before needing another du Maurier in my life. So and then the final book, which remains lingering on my shelves from January, is The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. That takes us on to February, where I bought and read 2 books, and both of them were 5 stars. One was Oryx and Crake, and the second one was Women Talking by Marion Tays, both of which you will be able to see my full thoughts on in my February wrap-up. That takes us on to March, and I bought 3 books in March. One was Age of Vice, which I rated 5 stars. The next one was Whale, which I also gave 5 stars. And the last one was Time Shelter, that I DNF'd. So as you can see, the majority of the books that I bought in March were International Booker Prize related. And then that leaves us in April, where I bought the remaining 7 books. So those were Wayward, which I gave 4.5 stars, Horse by Geraldine Brooks, which I DNF'd, 4 Treasures of the Sky, which I DNF'd, Labyrinth by Kate Moss, which I DNF'd. It's going well, isn't it? There was another 99p du Maurier called The Glass Blowers, so I picked that up, and that just remains on my shelf. And then I also picked up 2 99p Margaret Atwoods, The Heart Goes Last and The Edible Woman. Again, I've read a lot of Margaret Atwood, and I intend to keep reading Margaret Atwood, so they will just stay on my shelves until I'm in the mood for another Atwood, and then I'll pick up one of those. But I just kind of like collect the books when they go, from the kind of favourite authors of mine, when they go to 99p, because Atwood and du Maurier are both, all-time favourite authors for me. So as you can tell, that means that I have purchased no book so far in May, which is surprising, but there's still half of May left to go, so I'm sure I will be purchasing some books in May at some point. But for now, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. How many books have you bought so far in 2023? Are you surprised by how little I spent? Because I personally am. I'm really happy with £2.80 a book. That's really good, and it's thanks to the other kind of channels that I get books through, like NetGalley and the library app, and my Scribd account, that I'm able to keep this spend quite low. So I think I'll be filming another one of these in the latter half of the year. So until next time, guys, I hope you're having a lovely week, and I will see you very soon in my next video, guys. Bye!